In a small riverside village, there lived a young boy named Anil. From his earliest days, everyone praised him for his sharp mind and curious nature. He was intelligent, quick-witted, and always asking questions. But despite all this promise, Anil had a big problem. He couldn't focus. His mind was like a restless bird, flitting from one branch to another, never staying in one place for long. Every time he sat down to study, his concentration would break within minutes. While reading a book, he'd start daydreaming about playing outside. Or he'd suddenly remember his phone and feel the urge to scroll, or he'd imagine the fun of hanging out with friends. Even the slightest distraction was enough to pull his attention away from important tasks. This habit was holding him back, affecting his schoolwork and even his daily chores. People saw a boy with immense potential, but one who couldn't use it because his mind was always wandering. Anil's father often tried to guide him, saying, "Son, the mind is like a wild horse. If you don't learn to discipline it, it will lead you astray, wasting your time and opportunities. But if you can control it, you can go anywhere and achieve anything you desire." Anil would listen, nod his head without really hearing, and then go right back to his old ways. The words were sincere, but they never truly sank in. One day, a wise teacher named Master Dev arrived in the village. He was famous for his ability to train young people, helping them become disciplined and successful. Many families had sent their children to him, and they all returned more mature and confident. Hearing about his reputation, Anil's father saw a glimmer of hope. He believed that only a teacher who was both strict and compassionate could guide his son toward a real change. So, one morning, he brought Anil to meet Master Dev. He explained his son's struggles, his inability to focus, his weakness for small distractions, and his lack of perseverance. Master Dev listened patiently, his eyes filled with understanding. He smiled kindly and nodded, as if he already knew exactly how to teach this boy the most important lesson of his life: how to master his own mind. Master Dev looked at Anil with a gentle smile, then picked up a small glass filled to the brim with water and handed it to him. "Take this glass," he said, "and walk around my garden. Your only task is to not spill a single drop." Anil thought the task sounded simple enough. He nodded confidently, gripped the glass tightly, and started his walk. Master Dev's garden was beautiful and full of life. Birds were chirping, leaves were rustling in the breeze, and other children were playing nearby, their laughter echoing through the air. At first, Anil focused intently on each step, his eyes glued to the glass. But soon, his curiosity got the better of him. He glanced at the birds, then at the playing children. Each time he looked away, a little water sloshed over the rim. By the time he completed the circle and returned to Master Dev, the glass was only half full. The teacher looked at him and asked calmly, "Why did you spill so much water?" Anil, ashamed, lowered his head. "Master," he admitted, "I was distracted by everything around me." Master Dev nodded. "This glass," he explained, "represents your gold. The water inside is your focus. The The sounds, the games, and everything that pulled your attention away are the temptations of life. If you don't learn to discipline your mind, you will lose everything before you ever reach your destination. Those words struck Anil like a bolt of lightning. In that moment, he finally understood. Success wasn't just about being smart. It was about the ability to stay focused on your goal without being swayed by meaningless distractions. After that day, Anil returned home a changed person. Master Dev's lesson echoed in his mind. He knew that if he continued to let his thoughts drift, he would never achieve anything meaningful. So, from that day on, he decided to change, starting with the smallest habits. He began waking up at the same time every morning, keeping his study space clean, and setting clear goals for each day. His phone, once his biggest distraction, was put away in a drawer, only to be used when absolutely necessary. He started practicing giving his full attention to whatever he was doing. When he was reading, he would consciously push away stray thoughts and focus only on the words on the page. When helping his parents, he paid attention to every small detail instead of rushing through the task. Master Dev also advised him to spend a few minutes each morning in quiet stillness, just breathing steadily to calm his mind. So Anil began to practice meditation. At first, it was incredibly difficult. His mind would still wander constantly, but instead of giving up, he would patiently bring his focus back again and again to his breath. Slowly but surely, Anil started to notice a change. He wasn't as easily distracted anymore. A sense of inner peace began to grow within him, as if he had finally learned how to hold the glass of water of his life steady. Weeks of practice turned into months, and months turned into a year. The changes in Anil were remarkable. His memory improved, his studies became more effective, and his grades shot up, surprising all his teachers. His friends started looking at him differently, not as the careless, distracted boy he used to be, but as someone who was focused and dependable. A year later, a national academic competition was announced. It required students to solve complex problems under a strict time limiter, true test of quick thinking and mental stamina. Anil decided to enter. On the day of the competition, the hall was filled with nervous students. When the test papers were handed out, the difficult questions sent many into a panic. Some rushed and made careless mistakes. Others just gave up under the pressure. But Anil was different. He remembered Master Dev's lesson about the glass of water. He focused on one question at a time, shutting out the tense atmosphere around him. He remained calm, pouring all his energy into each problem, step by step. By the time the clock ran out, he had completed the entire test with quiet confidence. On the day the results were announced, the hall was packed with anxious students and parents. When the judges finally declared Anil as the winner of the competition, the entire room erupted in applause. His friends rushed to congratulate him, his teachers beamed with pride, and his father's eyes filled with tears of joy. Standing quietly at the back of the room, Master Dev simply nodded, a look of deep satisfaction on his face. He knew his student had truly learned life's greatest lesson. From that day forward, Anil was known not just for his intelligence, but for his incredible self-discipline. He became an inspiration to everyone in his village, living proof that a trained mind is far more powerful than raw talent alone. His success showed that anyone could rise above their circumstances and challenges. Anil came to understand a profound truth. The journey to success doesn't begin on the day you win. It begins the moment you decide to take control of your own mind. The simple lesson of the glass of water became his guiding principle, leading him forward on the long and rewarding journey of life. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content to help you on your own journey. See you in the next video.